It's a steady cold rain coming down this WRAL weather alert day. I'll show you where we could see a little light icing and how much rain we'll see through the morning commute.
And because of those rainy conditions, we have the WRAL storm tracker out of the roadways this morning all around the triangle, giving you a first-hand account of what you can expect as you get ready to head out.
Coverage cap, the new legislation up for vote today in Raleigh that could limit the medical procedures your insurance will pay for.
And prices rising, the inflation update we're getting today, and why experts say the increasing cost at the gas pump is not unexpected. But the rain we're seeing out there, it is expected, and it's making for quite a miserable morning. I would say good morning, but that would be a lie. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, if you thought yesterday was crummy, we present today for you.
Here you go.
It's affecting some schools north of Raleigh, changing schedules because of the weather. Schools in Mecklenburg County, Virginia are closed. Vance and Warren County schools are on a 2-hour delay.
Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking the widespread rain, and it's also chilly out there, too.
It is. And temperatures are hovering near freezing up here where you see the purple area showing up on the radar. That's where we have a wintry mix, and sometimes it's sleet and snow. Today, it's just freezing rain. That creates the glaze, and so we're seeing a little bit of icing starting in the trees. There's a small chance that there could be some slick bridges, especially up toward Roxborough. The rest of the viewing area seeing rain, not as heavy down around Fayetteville and Clinton right now, but we're going to continue to see waves on and off all day long. Roxborough, Henderson, Roanoke Rapids up to South Hill is where we could see a little bit of light glazing. It's not going to be enough for power outages, and the roads will be mostly just wet, but again, could be a few slick spots out there, so keep your eye on those bridges. Winter weather advisory expires at around 7 a.m. We're not seeing a lot of impact out of this, but temperatures hovering around 31, 32, a little bit of a concern. Again, most of the roads will end up just being wet. It is 32 in Roxborough, 33 South Hill, mid-30s in Raleigh, upper 30s down south, but the wind chills making it feel even colder than that, and that rain just continues. This is a look at Futurecast as we head from 7 o'clock all the way out to around 9 or 10. Closer to lunchtime, we may see a little break in the rain, but more develops this afternoon. It looks like there's a little bit of ice in the tree here in Roxborough, so again, just be careful. Temperature there right near freezing. In the triangle, it is 36 right now with a bit of a breeze, so just a very uncomfortable start this morning. We climb into the low 40s after lunchtime. We have more rain on the way tomorrow, but a nice bump up in temperature. I'll show you, Ken.
6:01, Elizabeth. We just got reports of Raleigh police working a crash in southeast Raleigh. This is near the I-40, I-440 interchange there in southeast Raleigh. You can see at least one lane seems to be impaired. That's slowing down traffic in that area. So if you're coming in from Garner, Johnston County this morning, you're going to run into this in just a little while. But again, traffic is getting through in that particular area. There is another incident that Raleigh police are working at this hour. It's on I-40 in the westbound lane near Rock Quarry Road. Right now, we're not picking up any issues in that particular area, but again, watch for those police activity in that area. We also have the WRAL storm tracker out on the roads. Kelsey Coffey, photographer Mark Alexic, giving us a first-hand account of what you can expect as you get ready to head out. Kelsey, what are you seeing right now?
Ken, this steady rain could definitely impact folks' visibility this morning. We'll give you a live look now at road conditions here on the Beltline. Just a couple of minutes ago, we saw a school bus riding down the highway here. The hazard lights were on. Folks really need to take it slow out there. So far this morning, we've driven about 100 miles between Wake and Durham counties here in the storm tracker, and we've seen just a steady rain throughout the entire morning. This is just a wet, messy morning commute for you today, so you want to give yourself a little bit of extra time before you head out the door, because you're going to have to slow down for sure, as this rain is just really going to impact that visibility. So Ken, what else can you tell folks?
And a big issue this morning, Kelsey, ponding on the road. Really, when you think about it, we're getting reports that there's some ponding on I-95 or on exit 77. That's around the Benson area, about 5 miles before you get onto I-40 westbound. So if that's part of your morning commute, just keep that in mind. Elsewhere, we're going to keep monitoring these incidents that are popping up in our live traffic sensors to keep you updated as to what you can expect. You're getting into the car, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the triangle.
And Ken, while we're managing to look at things here locally, I thought in the WRAL Live Center, I would see how things are elsewhere in the United States, including in Virginia. This is Rosslyn, Virginia, a camera right here. A reporter was standing out there, but you'll notice there's some snow. Near the sidewalk there is more so a street that's near this City Center that appears to be here. Over toward the right, we have Montgomery County, Maryland, where one of their storm trackers, I guess what they call it out there also, you can see they're kind of backing up, but you'll see snow in the foreground there. And this camera right here, I just keep going back to in Wichita, Kansas, right there. Clearly a lot of snow on the road that they're dealing with in that particular part of the country. Essentially what I've been seeing are a lot of different snow cameras that are coming across. This reporter in Kansas City showing just snow coming down. And at one point, he switched the camera and snow was basically just blowing sideways. So we're not seeing any of that here, but it is fascinating to see what else other places across America are experiencing right now.
Chris, thanks. This morning, we'll get new information about the direction the economy is moving. The Consumer Price Index report for January comes out at 8:30 this morning. It measures changes in the price of things we pay for every day. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from the Village District in Raleigh. And Laura, once again, we'll get a snapshot of how inflation is affecting the prices we pay.
Renee, good morning. The latest inflation report will give us an idea and really indicate where inflation pressures have eased, especially at places like the grocery stores and gas pumps. We know that those areas are typically where we can really indicate how the economy is doing. Economists right now are predicting an inflation rate of 2.9%, matching the annual gain seen in December. Consumer prices are expected to have risen 0.3% over the prior month. So all of this means that it indicates inflation remains sticky and isn't going away. Complicating the picture right now are the uncertain impacts of new policies under the Trump administration, like tariffs, which could exacerbate inflationary pressures in the months ahead. In Raleigh, we have seen that uptick in gas prices this past week, and Gas Buddy tells me while North Carolina oil won't be impacted directly by possible tariff changes, seasonal trends are beginning to take shape.
A lot of your gasoline flows up from the Gulf of Mexico refineries, that kind of area, Texas and Louisiana. So you'd be less susceptible in Raleigh to things like tariff impacts on Canada and Mexico. There still could be low-level impacts of maybe a few cents a gallon, but the primary areas for concern if tariffs are implemented on Canada or Mexico would most likely be the northeastern United States.
And today's report comes as investors debate if and when the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates for the new year. Of course, we're going to break down what all of this means for you and your wallet when that report comes out at 8:30 this morning. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will be back on Capitol Hill this morning for his second day of testimony. Yesterday, he told lawmakers the central bank is in no rush to slash interest rates. Powell faced questions about the dismantling of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, tariffs, and the new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Powell testifies again today at 10 a.m.
Raleigh police are looking for a person who hit a woman in the streets while driving and then took off. It happened on South Saunders Street, right near I-40, and around 8:30 last night. Police say the woman who was hit was not seriously injured. Investigators are working to get a description of that vehicle involved that took off, and it is unclear if that woman was in a crosswalk.
Today, the state Senate will vote on whether additional illnesses should be allowed on the list of services health insurance companies should be required to cover. The Republican-backed bill looks to cap the types of medical coverage insurance must pay for. If any new procedures are mandated in the future, something that is currently on the list would need to be removed. About half of insurance policies in North Carolina would be affected if the bill becomes law. Lawmakers who support the bill say it is needed because of rising health care costs. Opponents worry it will keep people from getting the procedures they need.
Covering Wake County, a new 25% tariff on steel imports could raise costs for construction on new schools in our area. Right now, 4 new schools are being built in Wake County. A school district representative spoke about the possible effect of tariffs during a meeting yesterday. For Felton Grove High School in Apex, there's a $12.6 million bid for the cost of labor and materials. The representative says a 25% increase cost of supplies adds an additional $1.5 million to the project cost. School leaders suggested buying certain equipment in greater quantities.
The development project around Raleigh's Lenovo Center is getting closer to reality. The city's planning commission approved the site's rezoning application, but not without some pushback. Cardinal Gibbons High School sits just across the street. Students voiced their concerns about pedestrian safety in that part of Raleigh. Despite the concerns, the planning board unanimously approved the rezoning application. City Council still has to approve it.
Today, for the first time, people will be able to fly from Montego Bay, Jamaica to RDU on Avelo Airlines. The direct flight from Jamaica is expected to arrive about 2:20 this afternoon. A water cannon will greet it on the tarmac. Avelo has 2 new international flights to and from RDU. The other new destination, Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic, that launches later this month. Coming up on 10 after 6 on your Wednesday, returning home, an American who's being held in Russia in captivity for 3 years now is free. What President Trump says about a potential deal to release another person.
And we are 1 year away from the Winter Olympics in Italy. What the International Olympic Committee says they're concerned about this morning. And a messy start to our Wednesday, Elizabeth.
Oh, it really is. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It is cold and rainy out there. We have the potential for some light glazing in our northern counties. I'll show you what the impacts could be for your morning commute coming up.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13. It is a really messy start out there for us this morning. Today is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We have a low-end risk for flooding. That means if there are places in your neighborhood that tend to flood fairly easily, you may see that today. We're going to end up seeing another potential inch of rain today and even more in the days to come. So this is a look at our potential for showers today. It's a 90% chance this morning, but afternoon, it does begin to back off a little bit. It still is likely to be pretty wet for the evening commute. Our temperatures are really chilly, too. We take a look at our highs. We're only going to climb into the upper 30s to low and mid 40s for this afternoon. And right now, temperatures are close to freezing up near the Virginia line. And we're looking at temperatures in the triangle area in the mid 30s. So a very chilly start. We do have a warmer day ahead tomorrow, 66. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Raleigh police working this crash in southeast Raleigh on right there at I-40 and I-440 interchange. At one point, that traffic was completely stopped in the last couple of minutes. Now it's flowing through. At least one lane is blocked. And as we widen the view, you can see what we're talking about in terms of our live traffic sensors. You can see the delay it's causing. If you're listening to us on the radio, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, you might want to get off on Jones Sausage Road to avoid what you're seeing here coming into that I-40, I-440 interchange. Also, there's a crash right there on I-40 westbound near the exit ramp to 1 and 64 there in the Cary Apex area. And coming up, Jeff, I'll let folks know if that's going to affect their morning commute.
Tough day getting over the hump here on a Wednesday. Thanks, Ken. New this morning, the Kremlin says a Russian citizen has been freed in exchange for the American teacher who is now back in the U.S. Mark Fogel landed in Washington last night and met with President Donald Trump. He had been held in captivity for more than 3 years. The president and U.S. diplomats negotiated his release as part of an exchange. Trump says another American is also expected to be released. He has not elaborated on that.
A new campaign launches today to help people struggling with addiction in North Carolina. It's called the NC Treatment Connection. The Addiction Professionals of North Carolina is launching this statewide push. It looks to give people proper evidence-based care from trustworthy providers. It will also raise awareness about options for substance abuse disorder treatment. The APNC is holding a launch event at 9:30 this morning at the Legislative Building.
Winter Olympics are 1 year away today, and winter sports fans are ready for all this action in Italy. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey has been a mad dash, right? And they are ready to make sure that this is all set for the biggest international sports event there is.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. I mean, look how beautiful it is in Milan and the mountains of Cortina. Crews are working hard a year away from welcoming the world to the Winter Games, but there's still a lot of work to do. Construction teams are working around the clock to get the bobsled, luge, and skeleton track up and running. The deadline for the pre-certification of the track is the end of next month, and the International Olympic Committee is concerned it might not get done. It's announced a backup plan that would had moved the events to Lake Placid, New York, a totally different venue. But that's certainly not stopping any excitement. Jalen Koff is representing the U.S. in skiing.
Yeah, I love competing. I feel like I really thrive in competition. And I mean, there's so much love too for the teammates, for the sport, for the whole everything that we do that comes with the competing.
And the Italian cities of Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo are teaming up to host the Games, making it the first time two cities will officially host the Olympics together. The Winter Olympics are set to kick off February 6th of next year. Today we'll have a preview of the venues and a look at the beautiful host city. That's coming up at 7.
Italy, a dream destination right there. Michelle, thanks. People in Los Angeles are worried an upcoming rainstorm will be powerful enough to trigger mud and debris flows to the Palisades fire burn zone. The heaviest rain is expected tomorrow afternoon through Friday. Caltrans is working to reinforce retaining walls. Officials say maintenance crews will be patrolling the burn scar areas 24 hours a day during the storm.
This winter weather is leading to some treacherous road conditions in West Virginia. Snow and ice caused several crashes on highways near Charleston yesterday. That whole area remains under a winter storm warning this morning after getting a foot of snow there.
Meanwhile, for us, our temperatures are too warm for it to snow, but just cold enough to make it miserable out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking the widespread rain.
Here's a look at where it's sitting right now. Dual Doppler 5000 radar showing lots of rain around the Triangle area and for most of the viewing area. Down around Fayetteville and Clinton, it's a little lighter, but we do have waves of rain that will continue all day long, maybe a little break around lunchtime. I know you're seeing the purple here. This is where we could see a little bit of light freezing rain, a light glazing in the trees are possible. It's possible, too, that we could see one or two slick bridges, but mostly we're going to see wet roads with this situation. We do have a WRAL weather alert day for the amount of rain that we've seen. So far, a quarter of an inch to around an inch, and then more today means we have a low risk for flooding. Also, temperatures cold. With the wind chill, it feels like upper 20s to low 30s. Temperatures range from 32 to around 36 or 7 this morning. We have the potential for some heavier rain this morning and then a little bit lighter midday and another round later this afternoon. We are looking at drier conditions in Fayetteville, but it's really wet in Raleigh, Apex, and in Chapel Hill. It's coming down in Chapel Hill there, courtesy of Top of the Hill restaurant. Here's Futurecast, and of course the pink shaded area. Instead of being a wintry mix, it's really just looking like some freezing rain for us this morning, which causes that glazing, ice in the trees. Watch for some slick spots if you have a deck or some stairs in our northern counties. You can see at 9 a.m. it's still pretty wet. A little break in the precipitation late morning into maybe early afternoon, and then more waves of rain come through as we get into the evening commute. The winter weather advisory does expire at 7 a.m. Again, we're looking at just some minor impacts there in our northern counties from some freezing rain. Yesterday, Laura Levine and the Storm Tracker showed us all that snow up there in Mecklenburg County, Virginia. They ended up with about a little under an inch rainfall-wise. Efland near Chapel Hill, and over an inch there. Warrenton, almost an inch. Dunn at about half an inch, and Rayford around a quarter of an inch. Our rain chances, of course, are pretty high for today. Tomorrow, we'll have another wave of rain that comes through, and then a little bit of a break for Valentine's Day. Let's talk about tomorrow's rain. Overnight, we may dry out. If we do, we'll probably end up with some fog, but then we have a warm front that comes through. That warm front will start to push some rain in time for the morning commute tomorrow. Could be a few rumbles of thunder, but it looks like it's out of here right around lunchtime, and we may actually see some clearing in the afternoon. Thursday is going to be a really warm day for us, and we have more warm temperatures ahead. We have a chance for some showers and thunderstorms over the weekend, so we'll be tracking that next. Right now, Valentine's Day looking good. And you know, honestly, Ken, if we're going to have a dry day, thankfully it is Valentine's Day, so if you're getting out, you won't have to drag the umbrella out.
Right there with you on that point, Elizabeth. Thanks. Hey, that crash we've been telling you about in Southeast Raleigh on I-40, I-440 interchange there in Southeast Raleigh has moved over to the shoulder of the road, so traffic is getting through. But as we take it to our live traffic sensors this morning, you can still see the lingering delays that it's causing in that area. I was encouraging you to get off on Jones Sausage Road, but it's flowing again, so you don't have anything to worry about. I told you about that crash on I-40 westbound near the US 64 and 1 exit ramp. Right now, we're not seeing any delays in that particular area, but as you get ready to head out this morning because of the rainy conditions, just keep that in mind. We do have the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads this morning. Photographer Mark Alexa giving us this live look at the I-40 westbound near the Wade-Durham County line. You can see the windshield wipers going. Just watch some ponding on the road, please slow down. Give yourself some extra time this morning. You're going to need it as a result of these rainy conditions. Well, essentially, if you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle.
The widow of the Raleigh police officer killed in the Hedingham mass shooting will have access to his benefits. The legal ruling now more than 2 years after his death, and the changes advocates say still need to happen.
There's a new top dog at the Westminster Dog Show. We'll introduce you to Monty, coming up in What's Trending.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Dog lovers, we have a new Best in Show to introduce to you.
And Pete Davidson is showing off a new tattoo-less look. Ken Smith here now with What's Trending.
Yeah, Renee and Jeff, let's start with man's best friend. A giant schnauzer named Monty is the top dog of this year's Westminster Dog Show. He's the first giant schnauzer to get the honor in the 149 history of the competition.
How about that? Beat 2,500 other dogs. A lively 5-year-old pup right there. Bourbon the Whippet, by the way, finished a close second.
Can't go wrong with either one.
Looking good, Monty.
So Pete Davidson showing off his ink-free physique in a new ad campaign for clothing brand Reformation. Davidson says it took hundreds of painful laser treatments to remove his nearly 200 tattoos.
Yeah, he recently talked about the process on The Tonight Show. He said it was horrible, worse than getting tattooed, because he talked about they burn a layer of skin off, then it has to heal for 6 to 8 weeks, and then you go back and do it like 12 more times to remove it. And he started removing his tattoos because he said on movie sets it was taking too much time to cover up. So he wanted to get rid of them, and he has.
Well, now that I know they can come off, I can get my nun tattoos taken off.
Now you know. Wake County Public Libraries are teaming up with the American Heart Association to keep the community healthy. They are making blood pressure monitors available for checkout at 6 libraries. The pilot program is designed to encourage people to take charge of their heart health at no cost. The family of Fort Bragg's new namesake shares his story with WRAL, why they say the news was a surprise to them and how they think he'd feel about it.
And we're taking a look at radar. Lots of rain out there, a little bit of icy glaze potentially in the north. I'll show you what your commute will look and feel like coming up.
WRAL Storm Tracker gives us that look right now. Road conditions here, live look, I-40 east heading into Raleigh. Pretty messy out there. What you can expect for your drive to work or school.